Hello, my name is Wildstag, and thank you for tuning in to another used book rant. Today, I'm going to be covering this book, Kill the Farm Boy. This book I purchased at Coaz. It was put on the shelf in January of 2023. I picked this up about 8 days afterwards, and I waited about a month before I read this book, but when I did, oh boy, did I have a fun time. I bought this book together with a book called The Great South Woods, Rambles of an Adirondack Native, which I still haven't read, but this book was really fun when I did get around to reading it. I paid $6 for it, $5.98 to be exact. It was a fun book in really good condition. The copyright information says that it is copyright 2018. This is the 2019 Del Rey Trade Paperback Edition. Now, what is this book about, and why did I pick it up off the shelves? Well, firstly, I saw it on the shelves because of this very bold yellow spine with a goat on the spine right under the words, Kill the Farm Boy. One of my favorite fantasy series is the Prydain Chronicles, and the Farm Boy is a pretty major trope in the fantasy genre, but that one with Terran Wanderer, that one was one of my favorite series ever. C.S. Lewis's Narnia book, The Horse and His Boy, involves not a farmer but a fisher. In both cases, a magical animal of some sort approaches them and they are called to adventure because of it. In Terran Wanderer's case, he is a pig keeper, and he keeps Henwen, a magical pig, that escapes one day, and he goes out to find it. In The Horse and His Boy, a traveling lord stops at a fisherman's hut, and Shasta, who knows that he isn't really his father's son, is sold into slavery by his father, and then they escape. He and the talking horse that the Lord rode in on. So those are older examples, but there are a lot of newer examples of the farm boy turned hero. This is one of those. Kind of. And I'm not going to really explain that for various spoilery reasons. This book is about a boy in the region of Pell, and it opens like this, chapter 2 actually. In a squalid barnyard in Borix, redolent of feces and angst. The very worst part about drudgery, Worstly thought, was all the blasted drudging one had to do. Nothing joyful or fun or frolicsome around the corner for a lowly farm boy like him to look forward to. Just more drudgery of a mind-sapping, soul-sucking nature, and on a good day, no cause for involuntary upchuckery. At least he'd become somewhat accustomed to cleaning up the barnyard after his older brother, Bestly, had been stabbed in the heart by Lord Urgot for being too handsome. Some said barnyard duties were a step up from scrubbing the chimney, but Worstly wasn't so sure. So, to start off, it really hammers home that this is a satire, that this is making fun of the fantasy genre, because the main character, as he is introduced, is named Worstly, and his far too handsome brother, Bestly, the best son and the worst son, Bestly was killed for being far too handsome. Worstly is approached by a pixie named Staff, and this pixie bestows upon him the Chosen One status, with some prompting for proof of the magical nature of this pixie. The goat that would have been turned into food, turned into dinner by Worsley, is turned into a talking goat. Gus, the goat, introduces himself as Gustav, not Gus. Get it straight, Pooh Boy. That's your name, genius. Pooh Boy, as in the boy who scoops up my poo. Worsley bristled and said, "That's so juvenile, you," but Staff cut him off before he could finish. "Look, will you forget the goat and listen to me now? He's not important, but I'm for real, and I'm telling you that you're the chosen one. You have a special destiny. You're going to do great things." "Why me?" "Hey, it wasn't me that chose you, okay? I just got sent here to do the deed. If I'm gonna choose a hero, you can be darned sure it's not gonna be some whiny, pathetic punk named Pooh Boy. That's not my name, it's Worsley. Whatever, like that's any better. Anyway, you're hereby anointed, so get to it, will ya?" "Get to what?" "Saving the world, or changing it, or both. The aura kind of takes care of everything, and it's not my problem anymore. Alls I need is a drink and the occasional night of debauchery at the local halfling bar, and I'm good. But you're not good, right? You're a Pooh Boy named Worsley living in the worst wretched earldom in Pell. Time to move on, don't you think? Find your destiny, get some songs written about you, do something worth singing about." Worsley then goes off with Gustav the goat and gathers some companions that can help him stop the big bad evil guy of this story. He seeks out his aunt, who is a sand witch, again highlighting the satiric nature of this book. And they go on adventures, though admittedly, what I should clarify, and this isn't really a spoiler, is that Worsley gets mostly killed near the start of the book and is left in a tower that is frozen, locked in time. But Gustav and the companions that went with them go to request the aid of the Sand Witch, as well as the a not so great wannabe wizard who comes with his servant slash assassin who is very terrible at her job. It's really just one joke after another, and in a way it does take itself seriously enough for the plot to resolve itself. All these jokes come together in a very Princess Bride-esque narrative. The chosen one does save the day and is rewarded handsomely for his efforts. The wannabe Dark Lord Toby, and that is the wannabe wizard Dark Lord's name, the one that I mentioned earlier, he accompanies the group. He is kind of a sweaty, greasy gentleman that isn't really a gentleman. He wants to be treated as masculine and gentlemanly, and he's really not. He's sexually abusive and harassing towards the women in the group. He is constantly condescending towards his assassin slash servant, and really he's just kind of there as a joke. But in a way he is also a member of the group, and so when some of the group starts dying, including the Dark Lord Toby, his death is given all the weight that his role in the group deserves. And his role in the narrative continues on to some degree, but with that same degree of value that he gave to the party, which admittedly isn't that much. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed about this book, is that everyone was both important and a joke, and the people that were not really jokes were more like the straight men to those jokes. So some of them were kind of serious, but their role as, kind of serious people created a atmosphere where they were part of the joke and contributing to those jokes and yet driving the plot and narrative forward in a meaningful way. So, though Dark Lord Toby is a joke and is treated as one throughout the entire story, and his assassin slash servant is as well, the Sandwich, Gustav, and a couple other characters are there for very important reasons, and though they are constant jokes, and one of them is constantly joking, it serves the narrative. It pushes it forward, and I think this book was fun. It was about 380 pages long, and if you think that is a bit long for satire, I'd point you to Orconomics behind me on the shelf. There are other books in this series, including No Country for Old Gnomes and The Princess Beard, both of which are obviously jokes. No Country for Old Men and The Princess Bride. And like I said, this book oozes with the energy that is in The Princess Bride. So the last book that is being advertised on the last page of this book, The Princess Beard, alluding to that other story's title, shows it was very intentional, and I think fans of that style of comedy in The Princess Bride are going to love this book as well. So, yeah. I bought it used. If you can find it used, you're going to get it fairly cheaper than its cover price. The cover price on this copy is $16 US and $22 Canada. If you can find it used, save that money and use it for other books as well. But the copy I bought is in really good condition, and I enjoyed this book. It's been on that shelf for the last few months as one of the yellow covers on it. So, yeah. My name is Wild Stag. Thank you for tuning in to another used book rant.